I know a guy smokes a lot of weed and is fairly overweight. He had been trying to find work but was having trouble finding a job since everything he was interested in drug tested. He told my boyfriend that he had a plan that might help him pass a drug test. Since weed supposedly gets stored in your fat cells, he proposed that he should just eat even more than he normally does so he can gain weight. That way, the fat that he gained would replace the weed fat. Boom. Problem solved. Tell me your stories, guys. The first one, I don't know about the exact odds, but I was born on the 7th of July 77 and weighed 7 pounds and 7 ounces. Sadly, though, I clocked in at 6:50 a.m. The other is that around the age of 14 I started to notice the outsides of both of my feet starting to get much wider. After a couple of years of buying expensive custom-made shoes, they decided to perform surgery on my feet. Turned out I had extra muscle growth along with something else I don't recall at the moment. My podiatrist told me he submitted a scholarly article on it. May also have been genetic, as when my dad was 3, he developed an extra toe growing out of each one of his big toes. I was struck by lightning while talking on a landline. This was in the early 90s. Lightning struck the telephone line and traveled through the handset to my ear. My parents drove me to the ER. I couldn't talk very well. My brain knew what I wanted to say, but my mouth didn't want to say it. I had a terrible stutter. My doctor told me that I had had a dose of good, old-fashioned electroshock therapy. My speech was normal the next day, but I get a terrible headache whenever a thunderstorm comes through. Edit. Auto Cucumber Edit 2. Thank you for the gold. Hello fellow phone lightning friend. Came to share I got struck by a feeler of lightning, according to the fire department, because I was watching a wicked thunderstorm on a cordless home phone. Neighbor's house got struck right by my bedroom window, where I was pressed up against it talking to my friend about the insane frequency of the strikes. I remember dropping the phone, slowly dropping to the floor, and then time feeling really weird. Mom found me laying there when she came to tell me the neighbor's house was on fire. I was conscious but very out of it. She got me up, helped me outside. Fire department basically said the same thing. Zapped, we'll be fine. Don't be on your phone in a thunderstorm. Also, the fire was small and only burned a hole in their roof, damaged their attic some. Everyone walked away okay. Edit. This was 2001 or 2002. Bought $3 worth of pong balls at one of those games at the state fair. I think it was 10 balls, and the grand prize is in the middle and you have to land it in a small glass container. I was having fun and just decided to throw it by flicking my wrist in a weird way. It bounced around for a while and landed right in the red glass container, which was the grand prize. Even the worker was surprised that I got it. Had to walk around the state fair with a giant Charmander plush toy after that. Tell me your stories, guys. What's the best luck you have ever had in your life? About 15 years ago I had to go to Vegas for a work thing. I had no extra money, so I really was not excited about going. Being broke in Vegas is no fun. I was there for 3 nights. First night I decided that I would play in a $50 poker tournament. It would fill up the evening and that way I wouldn't gamble anywhere else. Bam! Took first place for $1,500. Being responsible, I went and put $1,000 in my bank and kept $500 to play with. The next night, I go to a craps table with $200 and I go on for about a 45 minutes roll. This was at the Paris where they have the fire bet, which is a $10 bet that if you hit all 6 points it's 1,000 to 1. I hit that over the course of the 45 minutes, and, if you know anything about craps, it becomes exponential as you press your wins. So starting with a typical $10 pass line and $20 odds and like $12 on a 6 or 8, by the time I finally 7 feet ed out I had $500 on each number and was hitting them over and over, cashed out with $28,000. The final night, I did it again, just went on a 30 minutes run, hit another fire bet, but since I was up so much I had started at a $25 minutes game, another $18,000. I basically parlayed $50 into $46,000, which was more than my annual pay at the time. That will never happen again. Got hit by a speeding car when crossing a road, cracked the windscreen, did a flip and landed on the pavement nearby. Paramedics were worried I'd broken my neck. Several hours and x-rays later I walked out with nothing but minor bruising on my back. Different angle and I could have easily died. Tell me your stories, guys. Not me, but my brother was walking out of a Walmart. Started walking across towards the car, and some truck came barreling down at least 20 miles per hour, but most people said it was faster. Eyewitnesses are awful at relaying viable information. He jumped up at the last second, rolled over the top of the truck, breaking the windshield in the process. Got his foot caught on something in the bed of the truck, then rolled through the cable-tied door to the bed, broke the cable, and finally landed on his feet. My brother was fine, but the guy kept driving. Turns out the thing his foot got caught on was the guy's coat. Had his license and about $400. My brother got to turn the guy in, and made a few bucks. He then lost his wallet a month later, with his social security card in it. Tell me your stories, guys. Not getting crushed or drowned in a farm accident. I was 16 and working in the packing house on a blueberry farm. I went out to the fields with a guy to pick up the berries. The truck didn't have a cab, just a windshield. I was sitting on a fuel tank where the passenger seat would normally be. There was a large ditch full of water on the right side of the road. The driver went off the road into the ditch. I went into the water and the truck rolled over and came down on top of me. Somehow, I wasn't pinned or crushed and was able to find my way out. I used up a lifetime's worth of luck in that one incident. Tell me your stories, guys. Was in a horrible rollover accident with my family after graduating high school. We were in a Suburban traveling on the freeway when someone fish-tailed us and we spun into the median, and then started rolling. I somehow slid out of my seatbelt and flew out the passenger window, landing in front of the Suburban. When it got to where I landed, it bounced over me, and then continued to roll. Eyewitnesses say that is the only time the Suburban ever left the ground. In the aftermath, myself, my GF at the time, and my sister all needed to be intubated, as our ribs had punctured our lungs and we were drowning in our own blood. There happened to be 3 separate, unrelated EMTs behind us that all pulled over, had medical equipment in their vehicles, and intubated us until ambulances and Starflight showed up. So I'd say the bounce, and the random EMTs behind us would be the best luck I've ever had. Tell me your stories, guys. My buddy isn't the smartest man. He picked a chick up and drove to a motel. They were walking into the room and she says, "Oh shit, I forgot my purse in the car, do you mind if I go grab it?" He says, "Yeah, that's fine," and tosses her the keys. 5 minutes later he walks outside wondering where she is and his car is gone. Edit. For clarification, yes, he got his car back. I think the police found it about a week later. I don't think she was ever caught though. If you're in Baltimore swippin', don't let her near your keys. Tell me your stories, guys.